Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here today. Here's your fourth stimulus check update, fourth stimulus package update, and daily news report. In this video, I will be bringing you up to date on the latest stimulus news and information. More than 9 million Americans are set to lose their unemployment benefits, and millions more will see their weekly incomes plummet as a host of federal crisis jobless aid programs expire next week. 3 programs covering a combined 12.1 million Americans will end on Monday without action from the White House or Congress. 26 states pulled out of at least some of these programs earlier this summer as businesses struggle to fill a record-breaking 9 million job openings. But there are still 5.4 million gig workers, contractors, and others who are not covered by traditional unemployment insurance, who will lose their weekly benefits early next week. Another estimated 4 million Americans receiving extended aid will also see those payments disappear on Monday as well. And a separate 3.9 million Americans will no longer receive a $300 weekly supplement to other job aid programs, leaving them with substantially less money. And on top of that, the August jobs report released on Friday showed a significant slowdown in the rate of hiring, indicating a tougher job market in September. President Biden, moderate Democratic lawmakers, and virtually all Republicans have argued that it's time for the additional support to expire after several months of rapid job growth up until August, and inflation lingering at uncomfortable heights. Recent studies have also shown a noticeable uptick in job growth in states that pulled out of those unemployment insurance programs, but with limited impact on labor force participation. So what are your thoughts on all of this, everyone? Should the federal unemployment benefits still be provided to unemployed Americans? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below.
And so I'm calling on private insurance companies. Don't hide behind the fine print and a technicality. Pay what you owe your customers. Cover temporary housing costs and natural disasters. And help those in need. That's what we should all be doing now. And that's what we are doing. So far, we have provided, the governor's help as well, $100 million in critical assistance directly to people in Louisiana by putting $500 in their bank accounts once they've contacted us. That's what we're going to come back and let all you people know exactly how to do that. That'll happen. And secondly, as the governor's request, FEMA is helping with what fancy phrase, transitional sheltering assistance, meaning a place for you to be safely able to sleep at night and be secure, like covering your hotel bill. You're racked up because you couldn't stay at home during the hurricane or because your home is not livable now. We're making sure this kind of relief is equitable for those hardest hit. The resources they need have to get to them. And so no matter who you are, if you live in an affected area, please visit disasterassistance.gov once you're able to use your cell phone. Or call 1-800-621-FEMA, FEMA. That's 1-800-621-3362. And folks, Hurricane Ida is another reminder that we need to be prepared for the next hurricane. And superstorms are going to come, and they're going to come more frequently and more ferociously. I've been working closely with the governor and our colleagues in Congress in both parties on my Build Back Better plan that will modernize our roads, our bridges, our water systems, sewers and drainage systems, and power grids and transmission lines to make sure they're more resilient. I walk through the backyards here. So many telephone lines are down. So many telephone poles are down. So many of the way in which we transmit energy is lost because of old wooden telephone poles. We know for a fact if they're underground, they're secure, cost more money. We got to not just build back to what it was, put the same old poles up. We got to build back better. We got to build back more resiliently. And we got to make sure we do.
While many economists have quarreled for months over how much the federal programs have held back job gains, They widely agree that it's not the only factor keeping potential workers on the sidelines. Roughly 5.6 million Americans said that they were unable to work because their employer closed or lost business due to the crisis. And another 1.5 million said they weren't even able to look for a job because of a crisis-related restraint. And this is according to the August jobs report, which was released by the Labor Department this past Friday. The steep plunge in last month's job gains has also raised alarms among those who see little benefit to pulling back aid. The Labor Day expiration was part of a deal to cement support from moderate Democrats for an extension of federal jobless aid through the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan, which was passed and signed into law in March of this year. After back-to-back lackluster job reports in March and April dashed some of those hopes, several dozen Republican governors pulled their states out of the federal unemployment programs, arguing that the new jobless aid was slowing their recovery. But many economists who have studied the impact of those decisions say they had mixed results. Supporters of an extension counter that lapse of the federal eviction ban, and the end of the summer travel boom could still lock out millions from the labor market. With the nationwide eviction ban struck down and the imminent expiration of unemployment benefits, advocates are encouraging tenants behind on their housing payments to quickly apply for emergency rental assistance as soon as they can. Federal and state eviction bans were meant to protect renters during the crisis, but the Supreme Court blocked the federal ban last week, and the moratorium that was put in place by many states have also been lifted. Without them in place, vulnerable tenants need the $46.5 billion in emergency rental assistance, which was funded in 2 federal relief bills more than ever. Without it, millions are potentially at risk of eviction. But the relief has been slow to be dispersed by many states. At the end of this past July, just $5.1 billion had been distributed by state and local governments. Many of the rental assistance programs require proof of income for each adult in the household, as well as Social Security numbers and a lease agreement. All of that can be difficult to obtain. For renters confused by this process for relief, or for those without reliable internet access, community organizations can help upload the necessary documentation and also submit your applications. Many states also offer hotlines that will connect tenants with people who can answer any questions that they may have. Just a sliver of the $45 billion in assistance allocated by Congress has gone out to renters behind on housing payment. The first round of rental aid was authorized by Congress in December, and by February, the U.S. Department of Treasury had dispersed a full $25 billion to states. In March, Congress allocated another $21 billion in aid for renters and their landlords, and states have so far received about $8.6 billion of that money. Despite these historic funding levels, however, government data shows that just about $1.5 billion had reached renters by the start of June, and only 176,000 U.S. households had been assisted. So everyone, please make sure to apply for rental assistance if you are at risk of being evicted. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me here this morning.